What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Time for another Tools and Tech Tuesday. Today, I thought we'd talk about the Apple Watch and what accessibility features it holds, especially those geared towards people with low vision or blindness. And I'd like to throw in a comparison to a Samsung watch, the latest one, and I'll show you how the function of zooming in compares and why you might want to consider one versus the other. So, let's jump into the video. Alright everybody, let me show you how you access the accessibility menus from here. So you can do this from the phone too, but you can do it from the watch. And so you hit the digital crown, which is the little round button on the side. That's going to take you to all your apps here that you have. So I got a ton of them, so I won't bother scrolling through them. But you hit settings. Now, then you're going to hit accessibility. And accessibility is going to look like that. You can hit that. Now, you can see some of your options here. Okay, you can see the first option you have is zoom. Then you have bold text, on and off labels, grayscale, reduce transparency. They have a description of that. Reduce motion, chimes, side button click speed, touch accommodations, tap to talk. Then you have the RTT hearing stuff, mono audio, you can turn that on and off or have it go left or right. Then you got your Taptic timer. And that's the end of the accessibility menu. Now VoiceOver is the thing that's going to read stuff to you. So I don't typically use this, but you can definitely do that. Now, Zoom is the one that I tend to use the most. So let's say I want to go in and I want to see my... Sorry everybody, I have to keep cutting out because it wants to keep on going back and I have to put in my pin. So I'm going to go to messages. Now you can see the size print that this thing has. And then you can respond using your microphone, things like that. Now, to me, this is still rather small. Sorry guys, I had to put the watch on because it did not want to function with the zoom when it was just laying on the table. So you double tap with 2 fingers, and then you can see that it can make it pretty big for you. And you don't have, you can adjust the size. So I think it's pretty cool. Another thing I like about this watch is that if you just want to hear the time, you can just lay 2 fingers on it.
5:11 p.m.
So I don't typically use VoiceOver. However, I'd like to run through these and show you what you can expect with VoiceOver. You can change the VoiceOver volume, and you can change the rate that it speaks. You can change Siri's voice, and you can have it speak hints. You can have it speak on wrist raise. You can turn on screen curtain, which will turn off the screen itself, so it'll preserve battery. So if you're totally blind and you don't need to see the screen, you can turn off the screen and just use it as a touchpad, and then you can just listen to the watch. And you can also have it speak seconds. So let me turn on VoiceOver so you can hear what it sounds like.
VoiceOver on. Status bar chevron. Button.
So then you can... So now, let's say we want to go through some items.
Carousel. Setting. Settings. Settings. 5:17. Settings. 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 Roku. Roku.
So the swiping left and right was not working for me. So here's what is working for me. You tap
Reminders.
on the screen, and then you can turn the digital crown, and it'll vibrate to let you know that you've gone to the next selection.
Roku.
Okay, you tap on the screen again. So I turned the digital crown,
Settings.
and you can do it the opposite way too. And I can feel it every time I go up one and the next one is selected, it will vibrate.
Phone.
And then if you want to select it, you double tap.
Phone. 10.
So here's how the Samsung watch works. You can see I'm scrolling through settings. We get to accessibility, tap on accessibility, and I'm going to tap on vision. And you can see all the options here. And then it's going to be the same thing. You're going to triple tap in order to zoom things in. So I'd like to throw in here a comparison to the Samsung watches specifically. And some of this I think applies to other brands of Android watches as well. Now, Samsung, I believe, uses their own operating system called Tizen. But anyway, the point is here that with the Samsung watches, you can use them on more than one phone. So let's say you ditch your iPhone at some point, you want to get another phone. Well, you can keep the same watch. You don't have to buy another watch because you can connect that watch to an Android phone. Whereas an Apple Watch, you are only going to connect it to an iPhone. So another thing that I really like about the Samsung watches is that you only have to use one finger to zoom in. So obviously with the Apple Watch, when you zoom in and you're using two fingers covers up more of the screen than one finger. So one of the things that I don't like about the Samsung watches is at least all of them at work were round. And I understand it looks more like a traditional watch and maybe it looks better to some people, but I just think that the square form factor on the Apple Watch is just more suitable to modern day context of scrolling through those lists and looking at data and things like that. At least they got rid of the flat tire that they used to have. So which one would I recommend for somebody? Well, obviously, if you've got an Android phone, it's a no-brainer. You can't get an Apple Watch and connect it to your Android phone. If you're getting a new phone in the future or think you might be getting a new phone in the near future, it's probably worth just getting a Samsung watch. Why? Because you can use that watch on either iPhone or an Android phone. If you're getting a new phone, whether it's jumping ship to Apple or jumping ship from Apple to, say, Samsung, I think it's worth checking out the Samsung watches just because you can use that watch on either platform. You don't have to buy a new watch. So if you've got an iPhone and you plan on sticking with iPhone, whether it's sticking with your current phone or upgrading to a new phone when it comes out, the Apple Watch is a good way to go. Why? Because they integrate so well together. You can do a ton of stuff. You can use your Apple Watch as a viewfinder and a remote shutter button for your camera on your phone. You can also do things like take calls. You don't even have to have your iPhone with you to take calls if you have the cellular version. Yesterday I left the house and I forgot my phone and I had my watch on, so I was still able to take and make calls. There is a caveat to that. if you have the cellular version of the watch, you don't have to have the phone with you, but it does have to be on in order for you to take or make calls from your watch. So I hope that helps some people out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks so much for taking your time to watch another Tools and Tech Tuesday. See you next time. 2 fingers and then slide up and hope that it works. Alright, why isn't it working? Let's say you want to know the time, you just lay 2 fingers on the watch. Of course, no, it doesn't want to work. Especially, you don't even have to have your watch with you if you have my watch on me, so I was still able to take and send them. Put them in the comments below. If I know the answer, I'd be happy to